They say memories fade over time. Maybe some do. But some memories don't fade. Some just sit there, rotting slow like meat in a broken freezer. That summer was one of them. It was 1972, the end of August. The last weekend before school started again. I was 15. So were Chris, Devin, and Mark. We grew up in a small town in New England. Quiet little place. Barely made it on the map. That summer, we were in between things. We were too old for toy guns, too young for jobs, girls, or cars. We'd been close for years, since kindergarten. But something had shifted. Chris had started lifting weights. Devin had become quiet and withdrawn. Mark had begun wandering off on his own, disappearing for days on end. We all felt it, the drift. So when the rumor started about a body found out past Briar Ravine, it felt like a reason to pull together. There was a feeling this could be the final time as a group, a final adventure. Just the four of us. We left early Saturday morning. We told our parents we were camping in Chris's backyard. We packed peanut butter sandwiches, a flask of warm beer, and a pocket knife none of us really knew how to use. We took our bikes as far as we could, then hiked the rest. It was supposed to just be a day trip. We weren't planning to stay overnight in the woods. But once Mark said he knew a shortcut, well, we followed him. We always did. Mark talked like he'd seen things none of us had, like he knew the woods better than anyone in town. We crossed a rusty fence, slid down an old ditch, past warning signs that had nearly faded from age. There we met a train track. We followed it for hours. By the time we reached the clearing, it was late afternoon. The light had turned orange, thick with dust and heat. There wasn't a body, but there were signs. A single worn sneaker, shreds of clothing, blood dried into the dirt, and a smell, like rust and old meat, left too long in the sun. We didn't speak, not even Chris, who always had something to say. Mark stepped forward, crouched by the stain, dragged his fingers through the dirt. "Look at that. It's still fucking fresh," he said. We camped that night. We didn't talk about what we saw, but it was clear something terrible had happened there. We sat around a fire that didn't crackle right, ate crackers that tasted like ash, watched the sky turn black and too quiet. Somewhere deep in the trees, something snapped. Maybe it was a branch. I fought to stop my imagination from running too wild. None of us slept well, and in the morning we set out for home. We made it back to town late Sunday afternoon. Dirty, tired, distant. Chris walked his bike most of the way. Devin stayed behind the group. Mark just smiled like it had all gone exactly how he wanted. And me? I couldn't shake the feeling that something had come back with us. The next morning I stayed home from school. Sick, I said. I didn't tell my parents about the headaches, the nausea, the way I kept smelling blood when there wasn't any. That's when my mom came in, holding the newspaper. She looked pale. "Mark's funeral is this Saturday," she said. I blinked. His what? Sweetheart. Mark died last week. Confused, I told her that was impossible. We'd just been with him yesterday. All of us. She stared at me with a sympathetic look written across her face. She didn't say a word. And just left the room. I went to the funeral. Open casket. It was him. Same chipped tooth. Same hoodie with the frayed sleeves. Same dark mop of hair. But something was wrong. His face looked off. It was too stiff. Like it had been stitched together from memory. Chris and Devin were there. Neither would look at me. Neither said a word. We never spoke about it again. Chris moved to New Jersey. Devin quit school 2 years later. I stayed in town, but something in me left that weekend and never came back. I stopped going into the woods, stopped sleeping with the window open. stopped trusting photographs. Because here's the thing. There were 4 of us out there. I know what I saw. I remember Mark laughing at one of Devin's jokes. I remember the way he walked ahead, always just a little too far. I remember how he didn't blink when we asked if he was okay. Last week, I got a letter. No return address. Just a single line. I found another trail. Inside was an old photo, black and white. The 4 of us at the edge of the clearing. None of us owned a camera. Me, Chris, Devin, and Mark. But his face was smudged. No expression. His eyes, empty. Like someone had forgotten to color them in. They say memories fade. But not this one. This one sharpens. Because some trails don't end. They wait for someone else to follow.